GM friends, and welcome to Zazumi. I'm Sherry Barbera, and today we are talking about smart contracts for generative NFT collections. A hugely important thing. So where do you start? Well, you start with this key question. Where will I mint and sell my NFTs? Why would you do that? Well, it's super important because a smart contract is created for a specific marketplace and blockchain. And the contract writes to that. So a smart contract completes very specific tasks. In other words, it starts on the marketplace with the buyer and the seller. There's a smart contract, and then when there's a purchase, the smart contract executes. And this is what you need to know. So here are decisions that you need to make, and some of them are: where will your NFTs live, on-chain or off-chain? And by chain, that's blockchain. Will you take royalties from the resale of your NFTs? Why would you ask these questions? Because these go in the smart contract. What is the maximum mint amount? Meaning, what is the quantity that will allow to be minted? And by minting, it means purchase. So in other words, before someone buys the NFT, you can literally pre-mint the collection so people can see it, or the collection can be posted without the actual NFT showing. There's just a place card, it's called, before the actual minting. And the reason that you would do this, I'm just going to pop over to us for a quick second. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. The reason you would do this is because of rarity. When the collection is already out there, people are able to quickly check rarity and purchase the rarer NFTs first. Those will be worth the most. And that is why you do that. So who's here? Hello, Rob. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. GM Dale. Yay. Oh, Sal's getting shorter. Okay.
I was trying to fit my whole head in.
All right, let's go back to it. What is the maximum mint amount? Will you mint the NFTs, or will you allow the public to mint them? What that means is, like I said, you can pre-mint, you can pre-reveal the NFTs that is minting them, or you can have a place card holder and allow people to purchase them without knowing what they're going to look like. Is there utility in your NFT? If yes, you add it to the contract. Are features, for example, like randomness, rarity, voting rights on what you want to happen with your NFT collection? These are the different kinds of utility that you can add to your collection. Are they tickets to an event? For example, there is a project called VeeFriends, VEE Friends. That is Gary Vaynerchuk's project, which not only are the tokens, NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens, not only are they collectibles, but they are also a ticket to his VCon event for 3 years. Is there access to exclusive media in the NFTs? What I mean by that, perhaps your NFT has in a locked portion, the buyer needs to purchase it and it unlocks additional things, for example, a high resolution of your NFT so that they could print it, or maybe a video of your NFT so they could watch it. There are lots of things that it could also include, and that needs to be written into the smart contract. Do the owners get the intellectual property, the IP of the NFT? And I have discussed that numerous times in different videos, why you would and wouldn't do that. It's smart to establish what you will offer in your project when you even start thinking about your project. And the reason for that is because royalties, rarity, mint amount, everything, all of the features that you will include are fixed in the contract. Fixed. So what goes into the contract, like Vegas, stays in the contract. Okay, so we're back to the Vegas thing. They are fixed after the initial minting and cannot be changed. And that is because they live on the blockchain and you cannot change things once it's written to the blockchain. Questions? Are there questions? I'm going to go to us again. Are there questions about what I've just gone over? Because yes, that is a lot of information about smart contracts. Do you have any questions, honey?
Do I have any questions? No, I don't have any questions about what you just said.
Okay.
But yes.
There was a hesitation
I
there.
do,
What was that all about?
because my life is about living with a whole lot of information.
I'm going back to it. It's Cinco de Mayo, friends, so happy Cinco de Mayo to people out there celebrating Cinco de Mayo. And our friend Jackie's birthday, so happy birthday, Jackie. The primary function of a smart contract. What is the primary function? Now, you should know already what it is because I've just gone over all the things that you need to understand. Programmatically, so it is coded into the smart contract to execute certain tasks or processes by responding to a set of conditions that are written into the smart contract. And you can see that this is a pretty complex thing that you are creating.
I have a question.
Yes.
But you might have answered the question already, and I wasn't paying attention. So I'm very sorry if I did that. So, but where do you get the contract from?
Oh, that's a great question, and I didn't say that. That is an excellent question, honey.
Thank God.
So, where do you get your smart contract from? Well, I am going to be going over that next week. And yes, next week.
Teaser.
Yes, I will be talking about whether you want to hire a developer for your smart contract and why that's a smart thing to do for a smart contract. You can do it yourself. There are templates out there. Should you use them or not? It depends upon your NFT collection. I will go over that next week as well. There are multiple questions involved in smart contracts being written because they're so incredibly important on how your NFT project is not only executed, but does it have utility? Then how does the utility work? There are a lot of things.
Protection. What about protection?
Yeah.
So much about protection.
So much about protection, which I am going to go over today in this video.
Like the mafia.
So that is a really good question, honey. Okay, smart contracts are what they do is it's a code that is written so that it programs the smart contract to execute protocols, and it self-executes. Nobody does it for you. It self-executes various instructions and terms and conditions that you have put into the smart contract, and those instructions are written in code and determine and verify each NFT transaction. And this is why it is extraordinarily important that the coding is done correctly, is written correctly. They contain the rules, regulations, and conditions, they meaning the smart contracts, when specific actions need to be performed. And you will see how massively, massively important this is, not only for you, the person creating the NFT project and or the seller of the NFT project, and your buyer. It's really, really important on both ends that the smart contract executes correctly. And I will show you why coming up. So there's no person or entity, and you can see this is one of the Invisible Friends NFTs. There's no person or entity to maintain that smart contract once it is up there on the blockchain. Smart contracts are deployed. They are become real on the blockchain network and run the way that they are coded.
Question.
Run as programmed. Yes. Sal?
Thank you. Can everyone see your contract?
Yes. And this is the thing, that's a great question, thank you. This is the thing about the blockchain, is that it's transparent and public and visible to everyone. And therefore, anyone, once the contract is posted to the blockchain, anyone can look at it, any developer can learn from it, read from it, and or find errors in it. And Very interesting. So there are many things about you using the blockchain, but you don't have a choice. You put that up on the blockchain because this is how NFTs work. They are posted on the blockchain. Great question. Continue. Oh, questions. So you were a little premature, but that's okay. All right. If you have additional questions, put them in the chat or the comments below. What are the benefits of having a smart contract? And this is also something that you may be thinking to yourself, why in the world do I even need a smart contract? Well, number one is for accuracy. Smart contracts not only record terms and conditions in explicit detail, but they provide transparency. All of those terms and conditions are accessible and visual to everyone, buyers and sellers. And therefore, that helps to speed up the transaction because the smart contracts function on coding software on the internet. And as long as you have, number one, good speed on your internet and more importantly, really good speed on the marketplace where those contracts sit and the blockchain, then things can happen at high speed. Another benefit is security. And smart contracts use encrypted coding, just like cryptocurrencies use encrypted coding. And this offers a very high level of security. Also, backup and storage. Smart contracts record all of the information in every single individual transaction. Even the tiniest fine print is recorded on the blockchain, and therefore you can trust what is happening. That's another benefit in the smart contract because they are developed to give you full confidence in their execution. Because a smart contract is autonomous, meaning that it just lives on the blockchain without someone having to physically handle it. It is transparent, it is safe and secure on the blockchain. It really can't be changed without every single block prior to where that actual smart contract is written. So there have been years of blocks created before that particular block has been created. Every single one of them would have to be changed in order to change that smart contract. That is not going to happen because there are computers worldwide called nodes securing the blockchain and saying, no, you can't change that, so we are going to stop you from doing that. So thousands of computers, people worldwide stopping that. Who is here? Isaac. Hello, Isaac. Welcome. Thank you for calling me host. I appreciate that. I'm Sherry and my husband Sal. We are both here to help you with smart contracts. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you.
I'm the hostess.
You're welcome. The hostess with the mostest.
Yeah. Well, if you're the host, I'm the hostess.
Okay, so they eliminate the potential for manipulation from malicious agents, they're called. Rotten, crappy people who go in and try to change things or error. And that is what they are supposed to eliminate. So are there questions about that? Please ask me now or put them in the comments below this video and I will be happy to answer them. A smart contract lets you do this. You can sell an NFT. Then the smart contract, once there is a buyer, the contract receives the NFT and distributes the NFT to the buyer. You post your NFTs on a marketplace. Everything is automated and the ownership lives on the blockchain and becomes undisputed. Let me show you what I mean by that. If there is a duplicate created, which sometimes there are malicious agents, rotten people who try to do that, the blockchain, the smart contract will prove it's a duplicate. So for NFT 10K projects like Moonbirds, fun project, right? This just literally took off. It's a funny way to put it, but it literally took off. And they did this cool thing called nesting for their project. NFT 10K project like Doodles, and if you haven't heard of Doodles, I want you to go and look all of these projects up because you can learn from every single one of them. Go to their websites, look up their smart contracts from their website. You will learn a ton. Doodles is another 10K project. There are almost 5,000 owners out of 10,000. The floor price right now is almost 24 ETH, which is insane because one ETH is around $3,000 right now. So you can see the price of these little doodles is, insane right now. NFT 10K project like World of Women, which, wow, there are over 5,000 holders of the 10,000. Actually, all of them sold out, but right now there are 5.4 thousand active owners. That floor price is 5.75 ETH. That is incredible as well. They have done extraordinarily well and have literally just launched their second project called World of Women Galaxy, which sold out. That was 20,000 NFTs and, crazy, insane stuff there. And let me just go to us for one quick second and tell you that what is interesting about this second project is the smart contract for the second project had to allow the first 10,000 NFTs to go for free to the holders of the original NFTs. Interesting, right? So the smart contract was incredibly important that the coding was correct in allowing those holders to be able to get free NFTs, and then the next 10,000 would be for the general public. So
this was done when they started their collection.
Do you mean that they had thought of this already? I don't know that this was in their roadmap.
Oh.
I don't know that this second collection, that they knew that they were going to do 20,000. I don't know that they knew that because they launched a year ago in 2021. Oh. And so much has changed in the last year with NFTs and NFT projects and the insanity of prices and the insanity of what's happening with collections and the volume of transactions, which is incredible. It's in the billions, really in the billions of dollars.
I know.
It's really incredible.
It's really crazy.
That is what makes the smart contract so important, especially when you're doing a huge collection like World of Women or Doodles or Moonbirds. You want that smart contract to execute flawlessly. You want to be sure that if you've hired developers, which you would for a very complex project like that one, that the coding that they wrote is correct. So Isaac said, oh, thank you. That's nice, Isaac. Thank you. Awesome thumbnail. Thank you. That's so nice of you. I do appreciate that. Okay. So NFT 10K project. I just love this one. I think it's hilarious. It's called Regulars. I don't know what he means by regulars, but these people they just totally crack me up. This is a really, really fun project I have recently discovered. And their contract, oddly, it's very, very simple. Here you will find out official contracts for the proxy address, the implementation, and what they call ugly pool, where owners of regulars are able to trade them with each other. They pool their NFTs and trade them with other regulars owners. This is what their contract looks like. It is not a typical contract. Most are much, much, much more complex than this. Here's an NFT project by a famous artist named Murakami, and he just dropped this project, Murakami.Flowers official. He is in major collections in museums worldwide. He is an incredible artist. I love his artwork. We've seen it multiple times in Los Angeles when we go to the museums there. And this is just a silly, fun collection of his flowers that are just super cute and digitized, sort of like CryptoPunks. But they're already selling, I don't know if you can see this, but they are already selling for crazy amounts of money, $18,000 to $20,000 easily. But his paintings are in the millions, so this is relatively speaking a bargain. Are there questions about this? Because now I've covered quite a lot of different aspects. I'm going to go back to us, honey.
Okay.
Quite a lot of different aspects of NFT smart contracts for generative projects, and why it is so incredibly important to have one, and why, if you're doing utility, it is immensely, hugely important that you have a very well written contract that executes flawlessly. So if there are questions, please let me know while I can answer in person or
Wait,
in the comments
I
below.
have a question.
Yes?
I have a question
Sal?
for the people out. Well, not for the people out there. It's for you, for the people out
Oh,
there.
I'm going to put it on you. Okay.
Oh, I'm on. So, are there experts that can actually help you write up a contract? Like, can you have not a lawyer, but a NFT contract person? What do you call that?
That is a developer.
That is a developer.
Yes, and there are devs, DEVS, that's what they call themselves. And yes, you can find them. You can find people on Discord and Twitter. Those are the two top places where you want to start looking for really good developers for your smart contract.
But is it easy enough to write up your own contract? Are there how-tos on how to do that?
Yes, there are, and I am covering them in part 2 of smart contracts next week, so I will not be covering all of that right now,
okay.
but thank you for that question.
All right. Oh, right. Fine.
And Isaac said, I don't have any
Part
questions,
2.
glad to be here, but if you do have a question, thank you for being here.
There's always a sequel to
Feel
this thing.
free to answer it, because no, there aren't always sequels, but
it
smart,
is.
there should be almost always sequels, because there's so much information and things
Right.
are constantly changing in the metaverse, right? Things are constantly changing. New NFT collections are dropping with interesting, different utility that you would never expect, like Moonbirds with nesting. I mean, gosh, who would think of that? Or Azuki with they're writing their own like ERC. So Rob says, is the price set in the contract or determined by a buyer's bid? Oh, good questions. How does this change as the collection gets more popular? Wow, are those good questions. Okay, let me put that up again. So first, is the price set in the contract? What is set in the contract is how many NFTs of the collection can be minted and when. That is what's set in the contract, not the price. However, a smart contract can do anything. You're coding anything you want, so yes, it could be. Is it determined by a buyer's bid? Yes, if it is an auction. If your NFT, so that is 2 parts. I'm going to just go to me for a second and talk about that, because that is such a great question, Rob. Okay, let me pull it back up. Is it determined by a buyer's bid? The answer to that is when you first whitelist your project, you can pre-sell your NFTs at a set price. For example, Bored Ape Yacht Club preset a whitelist mint price for all the people that were on their whitelist. These are, in the know people at 0.08 ETH. That is what the original mint price was, the very first price. That's not the floor price. Floor price is what's selling for right now. Mint price is the very, very first price, the original price of the NFTs. Bored Ape Yacht Club is a project created by Yuga Labs. Yuga Labs set the price, the mint price, at 0.08 ETH for the whitelist. Then when it went out to the public, that price varied and could increase every hour or every 15 minutes or whatever based on what the smart contract said. So yes, you can do that in a smart contract, but you can also do that in what's called a Dutch auction or a regular auction. In a Dutch auction, the price starts at whatever you put the highest price at, and then there is a lowest price that you also set, and then anything in between is what people can bid. And there is a project called Akutars that I will be talking about momentarily that did do a Dutch auction for their mint just recently, April 22nd. Just recently this happened. And they set a price, a high price for the Dutch auction, and then their bottom line lowest price. And what they told people was that whatever the bottom line price was, which was set by the people bidding, and of course them as their lowest price, but set by the people bidding. So what did everybody agree was the price that they were willing to pay? Whatever people had paid above that, they would refund. Okay, they put that in their smart contract. But something happened, and I'm going to go over that in a second. Okay, so Dale said, for next week, Sherry, are you a smart contract developer?
He's looking for one close to home.
I am not a smart contract developer. I will not be learning that coding right now. I am working on our NFT collection artwork. I will not be doing the smart coding for this, but because it's really important as the creator of an NFT project to understand what should be in your smart contract, you need to be able to speak intelligently to the person that will be doing your smart contract for you. And you will need to have a list of things that you want in your smart contract prior to even speaking to a developer. And this is why I'm going through all of this with you today, because I want you to start thinking about, what do you want in your own smart contract? What are the things that you want to happen? Go and look at other projects, look at their smart contracts, look at what they offered people. What are they offering you? This is what is in your smart contract. Are you able to vote on where some of the funds go from the project? So in other words, let's say you collect $1 million in your mint, right? In your original mint of your NFT project. Where are those funds going? Are a certain percentage going to pay your team? That's written in the smart contract. Are a certain percentage going to be allowed for the buyers to vote on maybe a particular charity? That goes in your smart contract. What is happening? All of this will go into your smart contract. And that is why it's really important for you to understand what can go into a smart contract when you speak to the developer. This is an engineer, a person who is coding this for you. What does the smart contract do? It stores the actual legitimate transaction of the NFT from the seller to the buyer on a blockchain. And again, determined by which blockchain you choose. If you choose OpenSea as the marketplace you're going to use, they live on the Ethereum blockchain. They use ETH, which is Ethereum cryptocurrency, for payment. So you want to learn all these things ahead of time. Also, your smart contract transparently verifies the ownership of that particular NFT, and it will securely store and activate without anyone actually activating it, the instructions that determine the transactions for the project. How does it do that? You put a date in there for it to actually start the contract. That's how that works, the date. So what kinds of transactions? Well, royalties, links to locked digital assets. And I said that could be a high resolution of the NFT. It can be a video. It can be a link to where the actual NFT is stored. Lots of things in the locked content. If an NFT can be divided and sold as individual components, that's a whole another thing that you can do with NFTs. If it says you can do that in the smart contract, so you may or may not want to put that in there. When to reveal the actual NFTs and proof of ownership. These are just some of the things that a smart contract can do. Also, digital scarcity, that means rarity. Transparency helps assure that the same asset cannot be transferred twice. So people who are stealing your NFTs, making a collection, saying it's their own, no. This way you can actually prove that it is fake, and you can send an email to the marketplace and say, this is a fake NFT collection, it is my collection, take it down, and they will take it down. You can regulate the amount of tokens in circulation. You can regulate who can trade them. You can say, I don't want whales, they're called, people who buy up maybe 1,000 of your NFTs at one time in order to flip them. Maybe you don't want that, and you can regulate who can trade them. It will execute actions such as escrow, price discovery, and ownership transfer. All of these things being So incredibly important. So what do I mean by escrow? A smart contract ensures that the seller transfers the NFT only after receipt of payment. And this is another thing. You might get so excited, you want to transfer stuff, but a smart contract is there to not only protect your buyer, but protect you, the seller, from doing stupid things, because you might get all excited and do stupid things. Well, you can't with a smart contract. The smart contract codes that right into the contract. The contract requires that the seller gets paid in the process, and also royalties get paid out if it's secondary market. The smart contract is for everyone. It doesn't just protect you, the seller. It protects you, your team, and your buyer or investor. And that is another reason why smart contracts are so important. Is it safe? Well, it lives on a blockchain. And that means that the transactions cannot be changed by a malicious agent, a creep, a hacker who tries to get in there and change what it says, because thousands of different people worldwide on their computers, which are called nodes, are going to make sure that that doesn't happen. Can it be duplicated? No. NFT smart contracts make it easy to identify who the creator is, track the purchase, verify legitimacy. And this is why it lives on the blockchain, as opposed to maybe just a smart contract being on some place like Google Docs. Well, that can be easily hacked. I shouldn't say easily hacked. That could be hacked. And you don't want that to happen. So is it important? Yeah, it's massively important. Where it is living, your smart contract, you don't want to just put it somewhere like Google Docs. No, you want to put it on the blockchain, because it removes the middleman. You don't need anyone to execute it. It reduces the risks of scamming. It even saves costs of commissions to a middleman. It provides secure proof that it happened between you, the seller, and your buyer investor. If a malicious agent does duplicate an NFT, the blockchain will prove authenticity, will prove ownership. It nullifies, I love that word, nullifies the duplicate's worth and makes it of 0, 0, 0 value, right? 0, 0, 0. So that's what you want. Questions? There are questions. I'm going to go to us. Okay, do you have questions about what I just covered? Again, that was a lot. That was a lot. Smart contracts have many, many details in them, and should have many, many details in them. The coding is incredibly important. You do want to hire a developer if you're doing a complex contract. If you are just doing a simple one of one, do you need a smart contract? No. You can use the smart contract that's on the marketplace. The marketplaces have smart contracts. You can use theirs. No problem. It's okay. That's okay to do.
So you can use somebody else's, the basic form of somebody else's contract for yourself. I mean,
you can. I'm not going over that right now, though.
Am I ever going to ask a question that you're going to go over right now?
Yes. Okay.
My mind is aglow with transient nodes of thought.
Wait, I'm going to go to you. Say that again.
I got to say that again. My mind is aglow with transient nodes of thought.
What's that from?
I think Blazing Saddles.
It's really, really funny. Okay. Most major projects include uniqueness. Most major projects include some features that other projects may not have. Like, for example, I just was talking about this, Moonbirds. They have this feature called nesting. And if you want to know more about that, look it up, DYOR. Or they could have an entirely new ERC 721, which they called A, to save multi-minting gas fees, which is awesome, right? Because they wanted people to mint a lot of the Azuki NFTs when they came out. So, or 100% refund policy for 100 days in the case of Curious Addies NFTs, which if you don't know about Curious Addies, go look them up, because the benefits from the Curious Addy collection are so vast that you will want to buy one immediately. You'll just want to buy one and not even think twice about it. Or a refundable Dutch auction, as in the case of Akutar. Now, I am going to go through Akutar, because what if the smart contract is not coded entirely correctly? What can happen? Oh boy. Okay, this is what can happen. You ready?
No.
If there are errors in the coding, which there were in the Akutar NFT collection, this is the horrible thing that can happen. You can get locked out of $34 million. So this is what happened. The Akutar team was locked out of $34 million because, wait a second, because in the coding, and you can look this up on Twitter, and you can just look this up on Google, there are so many different articles about what happened with this, and I read many of them, because the first ones I didn't really understand, well, how did this happen? It doesn't even seem possible. And the sad thing is that because the smart contract is public and anyone can read it, a developer read it, contacted the team and said, hey guys, there's an error. And the developer said, no, there's not. And they told the guy their reasoning as to why there wasn't. And he said, oh, okay, I guess I was wrong. And then, no, he was right. And instead of the team, which is the developers, going back in, looking at the coding and saying, oh my God, he's right, we need to stop before we go any further and put out a new smart contract. That's what you do. You put out a new smart contract, because once it's up there on the blockchain, it cannot be changed. It cannot be changed. What you want to do is create a new smart contract that is corrected. If there are errors, you want it to be corrected. So how could they have prevented this? Well, that number one, they could have listened to this guy and not lost $34 million. And number two, they could have had an audit. So in a project of the size of Akutar's, they maybe would have had to pay $50,000 for an audit. Sounds enormous, correct? Huge amount of money. Not nearly as huge as $34 million. Not nearly as huge as $34 million. So should you have an audit? Yes, for a small project, it could cost $2,000. Yeah, it could cost $2,000. Is it worth it? Yes. You do want to be sure that your smart project, it's worth it as long as you think you're going to make a lot of money on your NFT project. So yeah, you have to weigh the benefits of getting your smart contract audited for a lot of money if you're going to be making a lot of money and you have a huge following and you know you're going to be making a lot of money. So, okay, lots and lots of things to consider. Well, they lost $34 million because it became locked into the contract forever. They were unable to get that money out, and that is exactly why you need a very good dev for your smart contract, but you also need someone or a team of people who will listen when someone says there's an error, not be, oh, we're so perfect, we don't have errors. Yeah, listen and go back in and look at the coding and really look at it and say, okay, it is or it isn't, based on actually going through it again. But, one of the things that you can do for your smart contract is not online, but offline. You can run through the whole smart contract and see if it works correctly. And what happened with this error was that when it reached a certain amount of mints, in other words, a certain number of NFTs were minted, and the smart contract decides how many can be minted, someone had coded in there that at 3,400 NFTs, it would stop and hold the funds and secure the funds. And it should not have done that. It should have said however many NFTs that they wanted to be minted could be minted.
So where did the funds go?
They didn't go anywhere. They got locked. People had already purchased those $34 million worth of NFTs. And those funds literally got locked in the contract, and the contract would not release them. So $34 million worth of Ethereum got locked away, which meant $34 million worth of ETH currency, cryptocurrency, will not ever be released again.
But there's a record of it, so why couldn't it be released?
It cannot be, because the smart contract is a legal document, and once it is posted onto a blockchain and recorded, it becomes what's known as immutable. It cannot be changed. So why is it important that you have really good developers? That's why. Okay.
That's a wiener of a
So
thing.
what happened? Akutar's, that was me. Akutar is a highly anticipated Ethereum-based NFT project developed by AkuDreams, which featured the character of a young astronaut hit a snag April 22nd and locked $34 million due to faulty code. Akutar's was created by Micah Johnson, a pro baseball player who founded AkuDreams and has been selling NFTs since 2020. If you're interested in the project, I highly recommend you look into it. It's an awesome project. Already it's been picked up for a TV pilot because the little astronaut is fantastic. The story behind it is wonderful. Unfortunately, the launch changed into a bad dream as the errors in the coding made the project open to exploits. And then this is the weirdest thing about it. A person literally blocked the withdrawals and refunds because he wanted to highlight the vulnerabilities in the project. And he said that the developers were not aware of the bug, but he did literally lift his blockage once they said, yeah, okay, we made these errors. But the problem was the errors were more than the guy even understood. They were worse than what he thought they were. These are some of the absolutely phenomenal, I love these NFTs in the Akutar Collection. Aren't they marvelous? I mean, they're just so cool. I love this collection. So what is next? Well, next is templates versus hiring a developer and examples of that, and then resources for you. And when is that going to happen? In part 2, next time in the smart contract for NFT collections. If you want to continue to learn about that. And the regulars are saying, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, our Zazumi YouTube channel, and you're a newbie here, please subscribe. We're up to already 500 and, I don't know, like 41 subscribers.
41.
Like we just keep
541.
growing every week, which I love. We are trying to get to 1,000 so that we can then make money from our YouTube channel, which would be fantastic. And we hope, our goal is to inspire you to understand and use and make your own NFTs, utilize cryptocurrency, get on the blockchain, understand how all of this works. And now I am going to go to both of us and say, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have more questions, let us know in the comments below this video. Please subscribe. Please give us a like. You know I love those likes. And I don't know, what's your closing parting thoughts, honey?
Well, the next time I'll ask questions that will be answered the same week.
Oh, good.
I asked like 3 questions and I gotta wait till next week.
I know, but if you ask questions that I will not be covering, there might be a part 3. Could happen, right?
Okay.
So if you have questions, please leave them in the comments below this video. And also, oh my gosh, I am opening up NFT Bootcamp for beginners. Oh, this is huge. This is huge. I will be opening up NFT Bootcamp for beginners starting next week.
Wow.
And it will be open for you to learn all about NFTs if you're a newbie to this. NFT Bootcamp for beginners. It will be on our Zazu.me website.
Are you gonna say stuff
Zazu.me
like,
website.
you say stuff like drop and give me 50 NFTs?
That's a good meme.
Oh, it's boot camp.
That's a great meme. All right, you got to draw that. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you so much. Have a fantastic rest of your day, week, whatever, and we'll see you in the next video. Ciao, guys.
Doodles.
Ciao.